Mark Meadows comes out to press this afternoon and says the first words that the president said this morning was, "How's that stimulus negotiation going?" Reassuring, as the president remains on top of the deal to get it done, and new indication that we're close to a deal. The question is how soon, how quickly, and when could you have your second stimulus check? This is Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody, on Afternoons LA with big, shiny news about an imminent deal in the second stimulus package. If you believe the words from Nancy Pelosi, who says that a deal could be hatched by the end of this weekend. This would be incredibly great news if it's in fact true. And again, I'm representing that these are her remarks, not mine, and they're statements of opinion by her. But boy, this is the most positive remarks we've heard from the Temple Doom since probably July. Go to this front channel, subscribe if you've not, because this is the best darn community that's out there. Now with 4 hours of programming, as we expanded our morning's programming slot to include 14, a new show that covers the president's next 14 days of COVID isolation. Also like this video because it's going to be the best darn video you're going to have this afternoon. This video is of course about hazard pay, which I'm going to have the details about it shortly, and also about what's going on with your stimulus checks and more about those incredible negotiations minutes ago. All right, let me get to the details. I know we have always pushed for the problem solvers bill. We've always pushed for bipartisan support, and we've always pushed back against Nancy Pelosi's bad bill. But Nancy Pelosi is now getting off of her bad bill and is trying to find a middle ground lower than her bill that's higher than Steve Mnuchin's offer of the problem solvers. Remember, the problem solvers was $1.5 trillion. This is the breaking news this afternoon, and the Mnuchin came in at 1.6. Well, Mnuchin's trying to go even higher, while Pelosi's trying to come even lower. They're doing it two different ways. First by modifying language, and second by modifying amounts. Pelosi has made it very clear to press this Friday afternoon and morning that they have agreed upon almost all of the provisions, but a few have been held out. Contact tracing and testing was one of the provisions. It's now resolved. Money for state and local, not resolved. And FPUC, not resolved. But it's ironic because these parties were so far apart just literally 24 hours ago. And now a lot of things are changed. I want you to understand, and I've said it in the video before, but I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it tonight. You need to understand what happened last night. And I know it's generally among people who are not subscribers to this channel, who are new to this channel. Thank you for joining. 208,000 subscribers today. So I really love that you've joined this family. They're a little confused about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, a vote happened in the House. The bill that Nancy Pelosi introduced to the House was approved by the House. That does not mean anything. It does not mean it's a law. For a bill to become a law, it then has to go to the Senate, which this bill has and is going to die or has died already in the Senate, because the Senate will never approve the bill. Then the bill has to go to the president, and the president would never sign Nancy Pelosi's bill. So what she did yesterday was an element of theatrics, political theatrics, to say, we passed something in the House. Well, it's not law. Unfortunately, that theatrics worked for some viewers because they thought there was a lot last night, and there was not. So what you need to understand as we start the afternoon is that the path they're trying to get this done is the four-step path. Deal between Nancy and Steve, then introduce that deal to the House, then introduce that deal to the Senate, and then have the president sign it. All those steps would be effectuated, would be done if there's a deal between Steve and Nancy, with the exception of the Senate. We don't know if the Senate will still get it done. We hope. So let me go to where we are this afternoon. What's going on this afternoon is a lot of twists and turns, especially when we talk about frontline workers and hazard pay. First, airlines. Oh my goodness. Remember that October 1st deadline? Yeah, that deadline that they sort of ignored, yes. Remember, today's not the first, today's the second, yes. Well, guess what happened? Because viewers ask me, like, oh, like, what happened with that deadline? They laid the people off. Airlines had to lay the people off. They had to lay the people off. So tens of thousands of airline employees were laid off yesterday. It's a horrible situation, as I report on this channel. But the airline said if there is a last-ditch effort to get the stimulus package approved and it becomes law, we will rehire them back. That's a lot of paperwork. So you could have been fired yesterday, but hired, tomorrow, rehired tomorrow. Well, there's this twist. Earlier this week, the White House, earlier this week, Mnuchin, from Monday through Wednesday, said there's categorically not going to be a standalone bill for airlines. Monday through Thursday, Nancy Pelosi said there's absolutely not going to be a standalone bill for airlines. Yesterday, the White House reversed Mnuchin, said we will do a standalone bill for airlines, maybe even executive order. And last night, Nancy Pelosi says we will do a standalone bill for airlines if we have to. Nancy Pelosi actually issued an entire separate statement just for airlines saying, please don't fire these people. We know you have a deadline, which we've missed, which we've ignored. Don't fire them because we're going to get the deal done. Yes. So in a way, the deadline did work for us, exactly how I said. She is very upset that this is not made to law by the deadline. And she's imploring the airlines not to fire and saying, we're going to get a deal, don't fire. Of course, some of them have already fired, but they've promised to rehire them back. This is really quite shocking. She started the day by saying that the contraction of COVID-19 by the president has now put the situation back more positive for negotiation. Not true. I mean, that's sort of a spin. But that Trump spoke to Meadows this morning and that he was in good spirit, in very good spirits. Meadows, of course, is negative. Mnuchin is also, of course, negative. The White House physician Sean Connolly says the president continues to carry out his duties without interruptions while recovering. As this virus continues to go on, other people in the White House will certainly have a positive test result and will continue to mitigate the plan as we go forward, said Meadows in a press statement. Now, what's going on with your checks, FPUC, hazard pay, and everything else amid rent? Well, it's the airlines that is helping you. Once again, the airlines. Pelosi today told the airlines to not fire the tens of thousands of employees they're set to announce today. This came after some airlines started furloughing 30,000 employees because they did not get the $25 billion they needed. As, quote, as relief for airline workers is being advanced, the airline industry must delay these devastating job cuts, she said in a new statement. But it was not enough. Airline stocks are plummeting across the board. So what's going on with hazard pay? Your check, rent, all those things. Okay, here are the timelines. I didn't do in the video before, so I'm doing it right now. Get out a pen and paper and let's get ready to, and let's get to the details. All right. If a deal is hatched, if a deal is made between Steve and Nancy, that is not law. I'm going to make it very clear. Yeah, that's not a law. Steve and Nancy say, yeah, I agree upon something. That's not a law. It has to then go to a next step. But let me give you timelines. If Steve and Nancy are now representing, or at least she's representing, he's not talking that much, but she's representing a deal could be hatched by this weekend. And when I mean hatched, I mean, some people are like, what are these words you use? A deal can be effectuated or done, made between Steve and Nancy this weekend. I had a whole thing with someone on one of the comments says, you said passed, not passed. I still can't even figure out what they're saying. I'm sorry if my accent's a little confusing. It's not an accent. Anyway, there could be an agreement by this Sunday, says Nancy. Well, if that's the case, you would have a House call for a vote potentially on Monday. You would have a Senate call for a vote potentially on Tuesday. The one that's probably the most dramatic that you're ever going to look at in the history of mankind, where it's going to be a biting and tooth and nail to get that vote approved. Boy, it's not going to be easy. And finally, the Wednesday would be when the president could sign it. Then you would count 10 days thereafter to get your stimulus check based upon Mnuchin's representations of routing million times. Now, absolutely all those dates could be totally wrong. That's what just we have been told. And understand, I'm not telling you you're going to get a stimulus check 11 days from this Wednesday. I'm just telling you what these people have always said to us. So you need to add 3 days for House, Senate, and President approval to prove it's a law after Mnuchin and Pelosi have a deal, and then add 10 days after that to get the check. Now, I know there's someone who's going to jump in the comments and say, why can't I have my check today? Because this is not the Jetsons. You don't look, oh, there's a check. Oh, it just appeared. Well, Steve and Nancy agreed to it on Sunday. Why can't I have my check on Monday? How do you get a check in 15 minutes, from Washington to here? It's just suddenly here. Thank you. No, it just doesn't work that way. But I always love those sort of miraculous, year 2050 transportation of electronic functions miraculously appear within 10 seconds. FPUC. You could potentially get your FPUC about 10 days after it becomes law in the fastest states. And then you would add maybe a few more weeks of the slowest states that are just slow. So this would be incredibly great news. Next, the issue is whether or not anything that's involving Trump and his contraction of COVID-19 impacts your ability to get the law done. No. And I've had such, I love everyone, but I've had some very comments that just, I think I'm being punked when I see the comments. One of my favorite ones was when we launched the trailer for 14 today. Everyone's like, the video stopped after 10 seconds. This is a trailer. It's a trailer. You want a 20-minute trailer? Then that is the video. Why did you stop? Because it's a trailer. And then all the comments last night. The president has COVID. We're never going to get stimulus relief. No, it doesn't mean he's not working. He's not having his eyelids sewn shut. He's not having his fingernails done. I just don't know what's going on. I think the Temple of Doom has sort of worn on people, and now everyone's sort of pessimistic about everything. This is incredibly great news because, as you understand, the Purple Power has really been pushing and has really pushed these people to the center. The Purple Power is about getting things done. And when I launched the Purple Power, I said, hey, you're entitled to this money. People aren't getting you the money. We need to push these people to act bipartisan. They're acting partisan. And so what Pelosi's doing now is she's getting off of her position, and Meta and Trump and Mnuchin are moving up. Hazard pay. Let me get to hazard pay. I know you keep on asking this. Is it going to be at the $10,000 hazard pay in this bill? Likely not. I'm not going to sell you snake oil here. Nancy took it out. She took out hazard pay from the bill. Now, I want you to understand right now, there is another provision in her bill, which by all counts, I don't see Steve taking it out. I've heard no word that he's taken out, that provides a very nice, hefty grant to you if you're an essential worker. It's not called hazard pay, but it's hazard pay-ish, or hazard pay-esque, or hazard pay-once-ish. It's money. It's a grant. It's not a loan. And it's for essential workers. The thing that is problematic about it is that it's not clear from the language of the bill how much it is, and it's not clear from the bill who would qualify for it. Now, ultimately, you know that Steve Mnuchin is probably not negotiating for hazard pay for you. The Republicans have done much of nothing for hazard pay, as Nancy has, thrown hazard pay out the door. But someone put this provision in there, and I don't know who did it, and it's really quite nice. The other thing I like about it is that it's a grant that you would apply to. The way I read the language, you apply for it, not the damn friggin' employer. Yeah, this is weeks and weeks and weeks. You can't apply for it. You're the employer has to. Oh my God, if that's true, if that really is the case, I mean, we're all just going to go to the casino. The other thing I want you to understand is that there's EIDL grant in there. There's that wonderful EIDL grant. No, I'm not bringing back the scars in the thick of October 2nd heat today. It's actually 1,000 degrees here. But if I could, I would throw a scarf around my neck and say, hey, your EIDL grant's coming back. So please understand, if you're an essential worker, there's a grant program in there. If you're an independent contractor, there's a grant in there. If you're a sole practitioner, there's a grant in there. There's a lot of grants in there. And so understand that money is yours to get. It doesn't require someone else applying for you. All categorically great news. So as we start the afternoon, what you need to understand is we continue to push. We continue our efforts. We're not changed. My sentiment is not changed. My mood is not changed. I'm just reporting to you how what the net results are of our efforts. So continue to push the problem solvers, continue to push the Democrats, continue to push Pelosi, say support the problem solvers bill, support a bipartisan support the corporate power, and also push and say don't you dare leave town without a stimulus package on our hands or else. I think that singularly may have been what has made the biggest impact on these people. When all those Democrats crossed party lines yesterday and voted against the bill, it was a reason for it, and it was because they thought the bill was partisan, and they thought that, well, they didn't think that. They were told that after the bill would be approved in the House, that everyone could fly back home, and that would be it. Steny Hoyer had said it, Nancy Pelosi said it, and they said that is not acceptable. We cannot leave town without a deal. And by this Saturday or Sunday, you might have a deal. See how things are so screwy? Go to the friend channel, subscribe to the best darn channel there is out there. I love you, you love me, and we make three, whatever that darn song is, or rhyme. It's a great day with so many things twisting and turning, and the best thing you can do is just keep yourself informed. I've seen such crazy comments in the last 24 hours, and I'm sorry if the whole situation confuses you, but I try to keep it very simple for you. Also, like this video because I'm here and we're going to get through this together, as I've always said. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused. Coming up next is FPUC, big developments as well. And stay of LA for more.